rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
That's right. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. My name is James DeJerome. I'm covering for Brandon for a couple minutes here. We have a great show for you today. I have David RINGO. He's our 3D solar expert in the solar field. He's the guy for us. And then, of course, Diane Vance doing our regular Fairway Independent Mortgage segment with Brandon coming up. And again, we have Jason Kobal, another one of our attorneys, going to be on the show today. You know, the Consumer Quarterback Show started about 7 years ago. Brandon Rhymes began the show because he had this great network of professionals he was working with every day. And he thought, man, what if I could bring this knowledge that I'm gaining from all these professionals out to the public, all the folks in the Tampa Bay area. All the consumers would certainly benefit from all the knowledge and information that he's gained over the years, so he invented the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's all about you. We are consumer advocates for you. We're hoping that your dollar goes farther in the marketplace, so we've established a group of professionals, like-minded individuals that come on the show and take time out of their day to provide some information, some knowledge for you, just so that your dollar goes farther in the marketplace. We've got great sponsorship on the program as well. The sponsor for this segment is Replenish IV Solutions. Really cool business model, Replenish IV Solutions. If you want to feel invigorated, rehydrated, everyone's worried about their immune system in this time with COVID-19. Well, Replenish IV Solutions can come directly to your business or your home if you can't make it to one of their multiple locations here in the Bay Area, and they'll infuse an IV drip right into you with any vitamins, minerals, anything you need to boost your immunity. So Replenish IV Solutions, a longtime partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, a really cool business concept. Check them out online, replenishivsolutions.com. Okay, we've got a couple of properties because Brandon is a real estate professional. He owns the Platinum MVP team here in the Bay Area. So we're going to talk about properties today on the show. Any properties you hear pitched on the Consumer Quarterback Show, just get in touch with Brandon about. He's got inventory even in this time of low inventory throughout the Bay. Brandon's got property for you. So if you're looking to get into the Tampa area, we've got a 3-2 new wood floors in the Tampa area, 4102 West Sevilla. So 2,490 square feet, 3-2 new wood floors, like I mentioned. Got a wine closet, terracotta porch, really good looking property in the Tampa area, 4102 West Sevilla. Get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. He's got real estate for you. Here's one in Riverview. So if you're looking to get into the Riverview area, a 6.5 with a 3-car garage, really beautiful home, 4,500 square feet, 13204 Fawn Lily Drive in Riverview. Again, if you're looking to get into the Riverview area, get in touch with Brandon and the Platinum MVP team. We always say don't leave money on the table. Get in touch with those guys. They've got inventory for you, and they want to talk real estate. Any of the properties you hear pitched on the program today, you can get in touch with Brandon about, and he will make sure that you can see them and get the opportunity to take a look at them. They are going fast. All right, David RINGO, as I mentioned, is on the phone with us. David RINGO is, of course, our expert in the solar area, 3D Solar. This company has done gangbusters. David, how long ago did you guys start 3D, David?
We started in 2013.
Okay. And you were the one, it was a one-man operation, is that right? It was just you?
It was. It was, for about 6 months, it was just me, and I was doing all the sales, all the installs, all the service, and everything. So it was, unfortunately, for a while. For a while.
I just want to emphasize that point because I think there's a lot of folks out there that get into business and hire a bunch of people. David's the business. He's 3D Solar. He was the first guy out there doing it, and so he's really invested in this company. And you'll see as we go through this conversation how passionate he is about 3D and what solar can offer you. We were talking before the show about all the things coming end of the year, hoping that the incentives and everything continue because our area is one of the states you mentioned as really going full bore.
Oh, it absolutely is. Central Florida is probably one of the hardest fought for customer acquisition in the states right now. California's always going to be tough. California has a lot more solar than us, but right now as the emerging market, as Florida has been that for a while, it's getting really saturated in Central Florida. And like you said I have a passion for 3D Solar. I have a passion also probably equally as much for 3D Solar as I do for there to be good, ethical people working in the industry. And what really upsets me is when you have people coming in here that just don't have the ethics and they're taking footprint away from the good guys. And listen, we're not the only good solar company out there, but there's a lot more out there that I wish were not operating. They're just not ethical and they're not going to treat you right. And they lie about production and materials and so on. So I want to see the industry represented well. And of course I want to see 3D Solar succeed, but I want to see a good, happy customer every time they buy solar, whether it's from us or somebody else. So
David, the key,
that's really what we're into.
I was going to say the key component to this whole thing is education. If you're coming into this thing and you want to buy solar and you're just going to shop bottom line, you're opening yourself up to a lot of misinformation and issues, because this is an investment for years and years to come. You better have somebody that you're going to work with and deal with over a long haul. Talk about how some of these people get hung up, David. They get into a deal and then they can't find the guy.
Oh my gosh, James, it happens to us all the time. We get calls every week with somebody that says, "Listen, can you come out and look at our system because it's not working?" We're always like, "You should really listen." I mean, you should call the company that installed it. We're not trying to step on toes.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to be able to service it because this is something that they should be intimately involved with and familiar with. And they're like, "Well, we can't reach them, or they've gone out of business, or they won't come out and talk to us." And I gotta be honest with you. We have capacity to take care of our installs and so on, but for us to expand to take on to other people's equipment and so on, it's tough. It's very tough for a company to be able to do that. So we do it, but it's very difficult for us to get to these other companies. But I hear people all the time telling me that their company went out of business, and if they would have known how horrible the equipment was that they bought because it was cheaper, they thought it was all the same. And I try and tell people, before you purchase, make sure you know what a good quality inverter is. The inverter is really the more important part of the entire system. Obviously, the way they install it and mount to your roof is important, but the inverter is a huge deal. A module is going to produce as much as the module can produce. Whatever they say on the module, it's going to do that. But I think you need to get really educated on the company, on the inverter, and on the warranties that you're going to get from that company that you're buying from. Those are huge. And I see people get ripped off all the time because they seem to come to us. I don't know why, but we seem to hear a lot of it.
Well, I think that one of the things that I thought was critical about you guys, not just that you stand behind your product and you care about the consumer and the client, but you're guaranteeing production. It's not about just this sale or what you think that you're going to get out of this. We're here to show you what you're going to get out of it, and we guarantee what you get out of it.
Absolutely. We guarantee production. We put it right on the contract.
Right.
And, our very first one that we sold and installed as a company, and I can remember it was in Tarpon Springs. It was a 24-module system, and I was looking at it yesterday in somebody's house. They're actually in Tarpon as well, and we do sell outside of Tarpon. I don't want everybody to think it's just Tarpon that we work in, but I was looking at that with another client, and that system will show us how much we told them it was going to produce and what it has produced, and it's 99.9% of production after almost 8 years. And so you can't get closer than that. On some years it'll say 101, some years it'll say 99, but you're talking cumulatively over 8 years.
Right.
That's really, really accurate. If I'm within 1% of production 8 years down the road on every job, I'm thrilled. I mean, that is exactly what it should be. And it's not hard to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Every company can do that. The same software that I used back then. I didn't dream up a number, James, when I did that 8 years ago. There was software available then that's the same software that's available now that's just as accurate that people should be using, and it's very easy. And listen, I really like sharing with people that exact software that we can use. And
let them educate themselves. I got you. I mean, that was one of the things I liked about you guys. You're putting knowledge out there and saying you make the best decision, make an educated decision, and you'll come back to us.
Absolutely. So I like sharing that information with people. Let them figure it out, and then when they see what the other people are saying to them and promising them, it's just horrible. They know what to do after that.
Now, David, we started talking about solar and 3D, what separates you guys, and all the good things about solar. Let's just back up. I realize there's still people out there that don't really know the solar play, the whole thing. In the idea of being able to cap your own utility cost versus the rising cost of a commercial utility vendor. I just think overall, some of the values that are built into solar, it's a really no-brainer when people get to see it. Could you spell it out a little bit for us?
Oh, absolutely. I love this question because I have people all the time telling me, so listen, if I had to take this loan out for X amount of years and it's about the same as my bill or a little bit less now, why would I do that to save $15 to $20 a month? Mm-hmm. And it's just like a gallon of milk. What's a gallon of milk cost 20 years ago, James? I don't even remember. I can remember when I first started buying fuel. I don't want to tell you what year it was. It was less than $1.
Right.
So let's not date that, okay, James?
No.
Don't do any research to see how old I am. But so my whole point is your electric bills are going to go up. And here's the sad part, or how we look at it is it's an opportunistic choice. But if you all your neighbors buy solar, and we continue seeing more and more percentage of solar going in residential areas, and they're saving money and they're not paying the utility company. That utility company, not only do they need to raise a little bit more for cost of living in general, now they're losing money on a lot of homes. They need to make that money up somewhere, and they divide that up over the rest of the homes that don't have solar.
Yeah.
So your pricing is going to go up exponentially over the next 10, 20 years if you're not doing solar. So like you said, locking that in with a loan payment that's the same for 20 years or 15 or 12 years, whatever loan you want, or some people pay cash. There's a lot of options out there.
Sure.
But once you figure that out and you figure out what you would be paying in 20 years, that number's staggering. And to get away from that number, listen, we have people all the time, I'm saving them in 20 years' time about 50% of what they would be spending. And I see the other day we had a guy that would have spent about $150, $150,000, and he's going to be spending about $69 instead of $150.
That's huge.
So for one investment, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's a huge deal. Absolutely it is.
It just doesn't make sense
and that's just
to not consider that. I see folks out there all the time saying, well, it's just a little savings. Well, add it up.
Absolutely. This is not a one-year play.
Right.
This is not a one-year play. This has to be, you have to think of this as an investment over multiple years. This can't be listen, in 12 months I'm going to be done. Now, I've seen some people go, James, I've got copies of their electric bill. I have a guy that had $776 electric bills.
Wow.
And the next year they were zero.
Yeah.
So now proportionately, I can do that with somebody with a $20 bill, but you get up to $800 and it goes to zero. Now that guy paid cash, and he got a tremendous deal. And it was, once you start getting over a certain size, it gets cheaper because the most expensive panel to put up is the first one. And then once you start every panel after that, it should come down just a little bit. But when you start putting up something that's going to take care of an $800 electric bill, that's a huge system. And man, he went from $800 to nothing, and he paid cash. So think about that. Think about having 800 times 12 is $9,600 a year. He's paying $9,000 plus a year into zero.
So, I mean, the financial play is so simple. If you play it out, look at the numbers, there's no way that is not the smart play. And we have not even mentioned the sustainability or the green factor. Let's talk a little bit about that, David, because a lot of folks out there want to do the right thing by their kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, you couldn't have said that better. I mean, you look at the sustainability and you look at, and there's calculators out there now that are scary that show you how much fossil fuel is really out there still, how much we have left and how much we could really run this country on and this world on and how many years. But if we don't do something renewable, energy-wise and so on, we're in trouble. We just do not have the resources on this planet. Man, the United States are hogs anyway as far as energy consumption. We consume more than almost any other country out there. It's insane. So we need to figure out some way of not using the fossil fuels and cleaning up our environment. Our environment is, man, we're borrowing this planet from our grandkids. I keep saying that.
I love that expression.
This isn't from my kids. It's my kids' kids that we're borrowing this planet from. And if we don't do something now, I mean, if you look at the deforestation throughout the world and the pictures that they send back from outer space from 10 to 20 years ago, it's insane. So we need to be able to do something to make this a greener planet, or we're in trouble. We really are.
I agree. And everyone's, sometimes it can be overwhelming. You think about all the stuff we just talked about environmentally, and it seems like, how can I make a difference? You can make a difference by taking the first step, and that's the key here. Take a look at your utility bill, see what you're spending, give 3D a call, and see if it makes sense for you, because I guarantee the numbers are going to make sense. It's just a question of the logistics of your property, your house, your roof, all those things. You can't find a better businessman than David Ringo. He's 3D Solar is exactly who you want to be in business with. David,
call us, check us out on our website, either way.
Man, David Ringo, 3D Solar, thanks so much for joining us today, David. All that information for all the folks out there. Again, please consider solar for your utility bill. Take a look at your bill and see what you can find out about solar. It's a great investment, and David Ringo and 3D Solar is exactly who you want to do business with. All right, we're coming into a break. When we come back, Diane Vance from Fairway Independent Mortgage is going to give us the latest market update. Brandon and her are going to go over the whole real estate area for the Bay Area. We've got a great sponsor coming up for that show, and I've got a feel-good story for you about a kid who invented an app because his father had PTSD. Wait till you hear this story. Really cool. Don't go anywhere. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, talking about Pasco County real estate, giving you your market update for all things residential real estate right here in Tampa Bay. The number of active listings in Pasco County at the end of October, 1,588 properties available for sale. Out of those 1,588, there were 1,302 that sold. You divide those two numbers, that's an 82% absorption rate in Pasco County. Very high absorption rate. And that also equals a 1.22 month supply of inventory. Super low inventory, which equals a strong seller's market here in Tampa Bay in Pasco County, as you probably already heard if you're talking to friends out in the real estate space. Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team. I would love to talk to you if you're buying, selling, or investing. We offer a free comparable market analysis. If you want to get a value on your home, give us a call, 813-670-7372. You can call or text 813-670-7372. And make sure you check out our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And our radio show website is consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our 50-plus expert contributors for the Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. I made it into the studio. A lot of traffic out there today, but excited to be back behind the wheel here, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say. Make sure you save our hotline. We would love to connect with you, on the hotline, and consumerqb.com is how we connect. And great stuff from David Ringo there. And as always, James D. Jerome doing a great job filling in as the backup QB, kind of like Taysom Hill out there in New Orleans, man. He's impressed me this year. You seen him, Jonathan? The Taysom Hill backup quarterback for the, with Drew Brees being down. The guy's good. I like it. He's a running style quarterback. He's really good. But anyways, back to the program here at hand. And Golf Cart Depot is our sponsor for this segment. If you haven't looked at buying a golf cart, check them out. They've got pre-owned, brand new, Easy Go, Star EV, Cushman. A lot of fun. We love getting out there. You can use it for business or personal. And they hooked us up with a beautiful Keller Williams red golf cart. And I've got it wrapped with the wraps, and the kids, the dog kids, the fur babies love to go out on it. Golf Cart Depot, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Cars, location in Tampa and in Clearwater, helping you win in any marketplace. Great stuff from David Ringo. And a couple of hot listings for this segment. Let's start off with our 1010 Bay Esplanade over there. 1010 Bay Esplanade. I love this property. This one is on Clearwater Beach. It's one of my favorite listings right now because you've got that third-story deck, basically a sun deck overlooking the Gulf of Mexico and also the Intercoastal. And it's 3,200 square foot, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. It's got a small backyard, screened in lanai, and the owner's motivated. So he's looking to take offers on this property. Check it out online. We'd love to talk to you about it. And let's throw another one up there, John. I'll let you pick on this one. But consumerqb.com is the website for the radio TV show. Platinum MVP Team. .kw.com is where you can see all of our listings. 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue, 1 acre of land on the river. If you are a boater and outdoorsman, this is a great opportunity. You got an acre of land, huge house, beautiful property, full acre, right on the access, bay access. So you go out in the Gulf of Mexico, go fishing out there. Great opportunity in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, our expert contributor, Diane Vance, local lender, support the local economy. Fairway Independent Mortgage Hey, Diane, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, Brandon. Sounds like I have a little bit of a better day than you do because you're in traffic and I'm not.
I know. I was running late. Luckily, James jumped in and I was able to get here. But you never know. Sometimes these backups with traffic here in Tampa Bay and just put me behind the schedule. But
well, especially it's nice out, so everybody's out. Plus, we have all the snowbirds coming down. So a lot of people are moving down here. I'll tell you, I've had more people coming from the big tax states down here. It's been everybody that can work remotely now are wanting to come down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a great place to live, work, and play. And I would say that's our Achilles heel is that's the one thing we have kind of on a negative side is the transportation in Tampa Bay as far as getting around vehicles, et cetera.
Yeah. Well, I used to always think I wanted mass transit until COVID hit. So,
right. Exactly. Yeah.
So now it's like don't want that, but maybe someday.
Yeah, if it's the cost is right, because last time I think the way that they presented
it's very expensive.
The federal government would have had some ways to bully us here in Florida, and the governor said, "No, we're not doing that. We're not playing that game." But
it would be very expensive to maintain, and they're finding like in cities that do have it, like Miami, they don't use it because when it gets really hot out, people don't tend to use it very much. So it's a little different. So
yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
You never know, but yeah. So I'm glad you made it in the studio.
Awesome, good to be here. And tell us about when you look at the economic outlook. I heard it said, and Captain Matt Bruce was asking me this the other day, the number of mortgages, it was some kind of a record lately. Is that right? The number of mortgages taken out?
It actually is always. I mean, every week we tend to have, interest rates are so low. I know your listeners keep hearing that, but it's like, the interest rates are so low that, I'm just amazed at, every week it's like record numbers as far as mortgages being taken out. Now we're seeing, it kind of goes every other week. It may be, one week it may be more purchases than refinance, and next week it may be refinances. So it just depends. But interest rates are so good right now and they have been for a very long time. And they're actually predicting that interest rates are still going to be very strong even after the COVID. So after the vaccine and things get back to some normalcy, you're going to see, interest rate may rise a little bit, but it's not going to be enough to be worried about. Mm-hmm. You might see it go from maybe in the 2s to the 3, or something like that. But it's very good right now. It's a good time. And yes, mortgage applications are definitely up. And it depends on the week. It depends. Sometimes they're behind. Now, as we get closer to the holidays, it tends to slow down a bit, but we're not noticing that. January is usually kind of a slower month for most mortgage companies, but this year we're noticing that we actually have a lot of loans scheduled for January already. I will tell you that, every year they look at FHA and they look at, the conventional loans to see what the maximum is. They've raised the conventional loans from 510, 400 to 548, I believe 250. So that means your FHA is going to go to about $356,000. So, so they've actually raised it's called conforming conventional loans. You don't go into a jumbo. So the difference is that when your loan amount is less than that $548,000, then you can put less money down. When you go into what is called a jumbo mortgage, you have to put more money down. So it's kind of important that it did that, because I was just talking to a customer today about, he's trying to decide, because he sold his house and he's trying to decide, does he want to wait to buy or does he want to do it now? And I'm like, hey, and I pulled up the appreciation for Hillsborough County, for instance, and I'm like, over a 5-year period, you're going to gain on $265,000, which is the median price right now.
Yeah.
You're going to gain $55,000 in 5 years.
Wow.
So why would you wait?
I also want to ask, we're coming into a break here. That's a great point.
Okay.
I want to ask you about closing in December versus closing in January, pros and cons as well.
Okay.
Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, hang on with us here. And then coming up later as well, attorney Jason Kobal in studio, one of our legal analysts here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com. We'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rives.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon, if you can hear me, let me know when you want to proceed. Alrighty then, everybody, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say here, helping you win in your real estate deals, of course, as well. Buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. My wife, Lindsay, does feng shui and interior design. She's awesome to work with, works with some of the higher-end buyers. We've got a great buyer agent team. I'm a certified negotiation expert, so I help negotiate a lot of the contracts, most of the contracts. And we would love to help you if you're buying, selling, or investing. And we want to give a shout-out to the Bill Maher Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. If you haven't been to Treasure Island and checked out their standing ovations, this is a time of the year that they're building these huge sand castles. It's a competition every year. It's pretty cool. Check it out. They also have some really good stuff happening for the New Year's. If you're thinking about maybe staying down there, check out the Bill Maher Beach Resort. 2 pools on site, Sloppy Joe's Beach Bar and Restaurant. Of course, the pools are heated, so it's a great time to be had. Talk to Clyde Smith. He's the general manager. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. And a couple of hot listings for this segment. Let's look at if we have that 8518 Poydras Lane up there. I'm not sure if we have that one ready yet, John. Okay, let's go to the 5727 Biscayne Court then. That's a great condo that we have, Mariners Way at Newport Richey. It's a great opportunity to own real estate, priced very well, less than 1,000 square feet, so it's a little bit small, but 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2 screen balconies, new appliances, community pool, and clubhouse right here in Tampa Bay. Check out the property at 5727 Biscayne Court, number 201, available for immediate access. You can purchase and move in right away. Great opportunity here in Tampa Bay. How about our 1780 Clearwater Largo Road? This is a commercial property. It's a commercial building on a corner lot with 40 to 50,000 vehicles going by daily, and it's priced just over $200,000 for a commercial property on a corner lot in Pinellas County. Great opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. And, of course, you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Somewhere sunny and 75. And a lot of times on the show, we're talking about supporting the local economy, the local lenders, the local solar companies, the local attorneys, home service companies that we work with, 50 different partners, 80 categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the show. So we want to help you win in those places. But when we talk with Diane, we got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, a wealth of knowledge around lending, the mortgage industry. And there are some pros and cons when it comes to closing in December versus January, tax incentives, et cetera. Diane, what are you seeing on your end?
So a lot of people want to close in December because if they close in December and they move in, then they can file homestead. Now, it does follow the house. If the house does not have homestead currently, let's say you're buying it from a renter, if somebody's living in the property or they've moved out or whatever and they filed their homestead somewhere else,
right, then
you can actually, so that's a big discount for folks closing by the end of December. Our December is always very, very busy. We still are accepting applications for purchases this month. Refinance is going to the next month, but for purchases, we are accepting those. And that's because a lot of people want to close by the end of the year so they can take advantage of that homestead.
Right, exactly. Get the homestead in there. Some people are buying for tax incentives. You know, we always have this scenario that plays out where the sellers, we're talking to first sell by owners, FSBOs, and we're talking to expireds. And they say, we're just going to wait, and I say, man, this is such a great time to sell. It's a low inventory market, literally 1 to 2.5 months supply of inventory in most markets. And when you look at the inventory levels, and then also there's a certain amount of people that say, hey, I don't want to be on the market during the holidays. I'd rather take it easy. And I get that. I respect that. But if you're really, savvy and you say, hey, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, I'm actually always pleasantly surprised, of course, but I was actually very surprised at how many purchase contracts we actually did get this first week of December, closing in December for the exact reasons we're talking about, because of not only because they can't, their offers more accepted sometimes if they can close quicker,
right?
Because a lot of times it's a multiple offer situation, so. I talked to a young man today, and the one that's thinking about waiting only because he's getting a little frustrated, because he's made offers and he's gotten beat out by other people in cash or whatever. And I told him, I said, well, get a pre-approval. That way you're just like cash. We can actually give you a commitment, and it's just like you're going for cash because there is no questions that you'll get approved.
Right.
And I said, that's the same as cash. So he liked that idea. But it's just interesting to me that sometimes people go out and make these offers and they haven't even been pre-approved. So because as an agent, you have to have an approval to be able to go out and confidently make an offer, especially with a tight inventory.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the key. And then when it gets into multiple offers, one of the strategies that we employ is the way to win these multiple offer situations is a secret. We're actually not going to say it on the air.
Of course not.
So there's some things that we do that can help you position, and we won multiple, those multiple offer situations, highest and best situations. A good realtor is going to be worth his weight in gold or her weight in gold, because they're going to know how to structure that deal, and there's certain things you can do to win those deals, and that's what it's all about when it comes to 3, 4, 5, or more offers.
Absolutely, and this young man was not. It was not. I mean, typically you see the multiple offer in anything below, $300,000, but this one was like $450,000 to $550,000, and I'm like, I'm actually really surprised. But
Lindsay had one at 1 point something million not long ago, 3 months ago. It was crazy how it all.
Yeah, I think I
did
the loan.
Did you do the loan? Nice,
yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and she did a great job, by the way. Lindsay does a great job. All your agents do, but it was. It makes a difference. It really does. And so, anybody listening, there is a difference between a pre-approval with a lender that knows what they're doing and a pre-qualification. So, if you're calling sometimes just online, somebody will take your information on the phone, and it may not actually. They may write you a pre-approval letter, and then when you go to actually make the offer, guess what? It's really not an approval because nobody's looked at your documentation.
Yeah.
So all you've done is give them what you think you make on the phone and what you think you have and that type of stuff. And one thing we do is we make sure we actually collect your documentation. So that's one thing out of the way when you actually do go search for a home, and you can actually concentrate on the home that you want to find.
Yeah, it's such a key. If you just joined us, we're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, longtime friend of the program here and a consumer advocate in the world of lending, supporting the local economy. I think it's more important now than ever to support those local folks, the folks that are in the chambers, they're in these, the contributing to the nonprofit organizations and doing things locally here with the world of these growing online retailers. They're squeezing out the small person, the small business owners losing out more and more. And, of course, the politicians aren't helping us out either with a lot of the stuff happening on both sides of the aisle.
Oh, it's crazy.
It is. It really is. There's uncertainty in the marketplace. Can't tell you how many people we have, deals potentially, even on the movie investment thing I'm doing now. We're waiting to see what happens with this election. I mean, come on, man. It's unbelievable.
Let's just get on with it, right? Let's get along.
Exactly.
But go back to when we were, in kindergarten and your teacher told you, you want to treat others like you want to be treated and get along. And I think if we could just remember that, we might actually get somewhere.
Give us our final thought, Diane. We got to take a break here, but final thought, words of wisdom.
Well, I would tell all the listeners to either get in contact with you or text me or call me at my cell phone, 727-647-8199, and I will be more than happy to run a pre-qualification for you. Then it should turn into a pre-approval or let you know what you need to do for the future.
Excellent. Good stuff. Thanks so much, Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Reach out. We'd love to get you in the pre-approval, get you into home ownership, help you win in any marketplace. Thanks so much, Diane. We appreciate you. All right, coming up, attorney Jason Kobal going to be here with us, going to talk about some legal aspects, things happening potentially with COVID-19, what's happening in the law in the law side in the courtroom, what's happening out there. Also, feel-good story of the day. We love to support our veterans here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a son he invents an app to stop his father's PTSD and having night terrors. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372 at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show with your residential update for Pinellas County, Florida. This is the latest numbers from the Real Estate Board. The active listings, the number of active listings in Pinellas County at the end of October was 3,510 active real estate properties, and that's residential listings. Now, if we come down and we look at the sales, 2,120 of those 3,500 properties sold, and that divided by, is it going to equal a 60% absorption rate right here, which is a pretty high absorption rate in Pinellas County. And if we divide that by 100, that's giving us a 1.67 months supply of inventory. It's a strong seller's market, as you probably already know and heard here in Tampa Bay. So Pinellas County is a hot real estate market here in Tampa Bay. If you're buying, selling, or investing, Brandon Rhymes here, my wife Lindsay and I own and operate the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We offer a free comparable market analysis, and we can also help you improve credit. We have credit experts, mortgage experts. Would love to talk to you. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372. And our website is platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, helping you win in any marketplace. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. They do a great job moving our real estate clients. Personally, they move me and my family as well, so I highly recommend them. Did a great job, first-class customer service. Whether you're planning a local or long-distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. And a couple of hot listings for this segment. Let's look at 12208 Four Oaks Road. That property's right here in Tampa Bay. This is a Carrollwood property. It's a development opportunity. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs, investors. This is a great opportunity here. 5 acres, and there's a small structure on the property, but it's zoned. I believe it's an R9 zoning. You've got room to put potentially 40 units on this property. So it's a great opportunity in Tampa Bay. Invest in Tampa Bay. It's one of the hottest real estate markets. And, of course, we know the residential side, you've got low inventory. So if you build these units, build it and they will come. Kind of like Field of Dreams, right? Build it and they will come. Great opportunity, 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa. It's in Carrollwood, close to Del Mabry. And let's look at another real estate property that we've got, 1813 East Knollwood Street. This is a single-family home in Tampa, 1813 East Knollwood Street. The owners put a lot of money into upgrading and updating this property here in Tampa Bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day, and we've got a good one for you.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so as you know, we support our veterans. We love our vets, first responders, military, veterans, first responders, teachers, nurses, anybody in that group. We're giving discounts through our real estate business. Of course, we'll rebate a half a point back to you at closing. But also, this is a gentleman that invented an app. A college student with a desire to alleviate his father's suffering has invented an app that helps people with PTSD stop having night terrors. Tyler's father, Patrick, a U.S. commander with PTSD, was suffering from the debilitating night terrors. Patrick served in Iraq in 2007, and at night his dreams took him back to Fallujah. He could only fall asleep with the help of alcohol and pills, and his life slowly fell apart. Quote, I pretty much lost everything, he said, fighting back tears. My house, my job, everything went. Quote, it was night and day when I put that watch on and the app started working, Patrick said. The vibrations, he said, were little miracles. Now, more people will soon be able to benefit from Tyler's invention. An investor purchased the rights to the app called Nightwear. Last month, the FDA approved the app, which works with Apple Watch. It will soon be available by prescription through the Veterans Administration. What a cool app. That's awesome. I love that idea. And it looks like we're expecting Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal here. He's not in studio, so I'm guessing he may be on the phone.
Yes, sir.
All right, there he is, attorney Jason Kobal. Welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, Brandon. Happy to hear you. I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah, man. Yep. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. And I think about 7 weeks now post-op. So what's happening in your world, my friend?
Oh, man, I'm very excited. As you know, you guys have allowed me to discuss the Florida Supreme Court case. It was originally my case that I filed where an injured worker was wrongfully billed for medical care. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And yesterday they had oral arguments, and they went very, very well. That's when each attorney fields questions from the 7 justices. And I could tell based on the questions and the responses, it looks very, very good. They didn't make their decision, but I think our chances are very, 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 very good after what I saw in that oral argument yesterday. So that was great news.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm excited about that. That's really cool. So that could set precedent for a lot of people.
It's actually the first time, even though there's multiple states that have the Fair Debt Law that says you can't wrongfully bill for something that you know you shouldn't be billing for.
Right.
And also has the work comp law that says you can't knowingly, if you're a medical provider, bill an injured worker. If you have both of those laws, you could present a case like that through the fair debt system. And in the whole country, this is the first time a case has gone all the way up to the state Supreme Court level. So it's actually the first precedence in the whole entire country. So it's very, very cool.
Wow. Awesome. Congratulations on that. And please keep us abreast of how that plays out. And you are a local attorney right here in Tampa Bay. You're helping folks with personal injury, work comp. You heard that story we just talked about with the PTSD. Did you catch that? Did you hear that? Pretty interesting.
Yep.
Because you were the first one to kind of talk about that on our show, where these first responders, they would show up to horrible scenes, but they couldn't have access to the work comp at the time. But that law has recently changed, right?
Exactly. It was before the law changed, you needed to have an actual corresponding physical injury in order to have a workers' comp case. And it really made no sense because obviously our first responders are so brave. They always present themselves in situations that we only see in our nightmares, everybody else. But obviously you could develop PTSD and just from seeing horrific things and from a horrific experience without having that corresponding physical injury. So that was a law that had to be changed, and it did, and the system's better because of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it seems like too. I'm looking at every day. I get a Daybreak Insider from 860 The Answer. Seems like you got YouTube videos here for the first time. It's saying YouTube to remove 2020 election videos challenging the outcome. What do you think? What's your take on some of these big tech companies seemingly? Silencing some people. It just seems like they're censoring. Any take on that? I mean, Section 230, what does all that mean?
I don't like this at all. It's basically they're determining what's true and what's not. For example, when the Hunter Biden stuff came out right before the election, they immediately deemed it Russian misinformation. And now we know from our Department of Justice and FBI that wasn't the case at all. So there's an example where they jumped the gun, assumed a story wasn't true when it was. It doesn't mean, all the circumstances around it. The way I see it, let the people see, the information, and they can decide for themselves what's true and what's not. Having big tech determine that for us is a little scary, and I think it's a way they can put their finger on the scale. And what that statute does is it protects them from getting sued for defamation, like Twitter, there's so many comments and so much stuff on Twitter where if it was a normal company, you would get sued for defamation because they have a responsibility to make sure that information is true and accurate. So if they were to take that protection away from them, which is what President Trump was talking about, that would be devastating. And there would be a lot of lawsuits for defamation against those companies. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But no, I think it's terrible. And it actually, we never experienced anything like that. And just started this year, and it's really sad to see.
Yeah, it really is. If you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal, Kobal Law, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friend of the program, and just does a great job working with our listeners, our viewers of our TV show side. And number 8 on this list, too, is interesting. It says officials watch unmanned Mexican drone drop off $500,000 in drugs. They recovered the drugs, but not any people. The drone headed back into Mexico. Pretty crazy world we're living in, Jason.
Wow. Yeah, high tech is, I guess, all over the place, even in the drug scene. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then another one of the articles, California continues to bleed entrepreneurs who flee state for friendlier governments. And the picture, of course, is Elon Musk with Tesla. But, California, some of these other states, they're just feeding us people in population. Texas is a big benefactor of that, as well as Florida. A lot of people moving to Florida.
Right. And I mean, there's just crazy restrictions and, life changes, and they I don't blame them for leaving. I mean, it's really these are crazy times for sure.
Yep, absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about your practice and what you're looking for out there. Anybody, that's looking for great representation. Jason is a trial attorney. He will go to the courts. A lot of the attorneys actually pose to be trial attorneys and don't actually go to court, from what I hear, from what I gather over the years of being in radio. They more or less just settle almost every case.
That's right. And with technology, the other side, that they know who's who, and the attorneys that do that, the other side knows it, and that impacts how much they offer. But yeah, you definitely have to be willing to go all the way. And even if you ever hear an attorney that says they're unbeaten, that's actually a red flag, because there's going to be times where it's a 50-50 coin toss, but you still got to fight for your clients. And there's two good arguments that are presented, and you sometimes will lose. You obviously want to win a lot more than you lose, but so yeah, you want somebody who's going to be aggressive and willing to take them all the way if you have to, because if you're not like that, they take advantage of it. But car accidents, workers' comp injuries, and then of course fair debt, any kind of wrongful debt. And one thing that I've seen a lot of lately, there's a lot of billing companies that are suing consumers on totally bogus cases where they don't really even owe the debt. But if you don't answer the complaint and you just ignore it, you could get nailed for a default, and you could have that ruin your credit on a bill that wasn't even yours to begin with.
Wow.
So if you get sued by somebody, give me a call, and you definitely don't want to just ignore it.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to Jason Kobal. Give us the website again, Kobal.
Kobal Law. Yep, it is TampaWorkCompLaw.com.
TampaWorkCompLaw.com.
Yep.
Good deal. Now,
or KobalLaw.net.
KobalLaw.net, KOBAL Law.net. Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal. We got about a minute left, Jason. Any take on this election stuff going on? It's going to the Supreme Court now. I guess Texas was suing 4 other states, and then I guess 13 or 17 other states now jumped in. Any idea what's going to happen there?
Well, who knows? It's such a tough situation. The bottom line is there were definitely, where I personally feel that suit generated from, there were law changes, definitely in Pennsylvania, one by the PA Supreme Court 6 months before the election that extended the time for mail-in ballots to be received by 3 days.
Yeah.
Even had crazy language that if there's no postmark on the ballot or on the envelope that the ballot was in, it counts as timely. So they created a presumption that didn't exist previously in the law.
Yeah.
And when there's law changes that are not made by the state's legislature, they're unconstitutional. So
right.
They actually have merits from the standpoint of the changes that weren't made through the state legislature. It's the allegations of fraud. It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of things that were said, a lot of questions, but
yeah.
without them being able to do discovery, they might not be able to prove all those. So it'll be interesting what they do, but it's definitely a serious case.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, good stuff. Attorney Jason Kobal, reach out to all of our expert contributors. Great job, Jason. We appreciate you. And support your local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Salem radio family out there. We greatly appreciate you. And so much for tuning in to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Shout out to David Ringo, Diane Vance, and Attorney Jason Kobal. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.